Good morning, everybody. Today, we're just going to do a video about everybody's overall health in the United States. And it's pretty, buckle up, because there's some crazy stuff I'm about to tell you. So, the first thing I'll say is I remember I came across this statistic. I was doing a research paper when I was in middle school about cancer. And even back then, this was early 90s, mid 90s or something, the diabetic rate since 1969, has increased 550%. All right. Everyone is affected by it. Okay. If you factor in that fluoride has been put in everybody's drinking water since, I think it was post World War II, 1945, and that's known to lower IQ in children and even adults about 10 to 20 points, which is, not nothing. And then you think about, when you're outside today, if you go outside, look up and just look at all these, they can tell me it's water vapor or whatever, but chemtrails, like I always thought that was like kind of a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs thing, but no, it's been Freedom of Information Act actually told me that that's a real thing. It's been going on since probably the 50s. So, I lived in Lake Tahoe for 11 years, and they would seed the clouds when they wanted to get more snow for the resorts, so they get more tourists and whatnot. I mean, it's a real thing. A matter of fact, in 2012, I ran into a guy that tested the snow at the very tippy top of the mountain where they do the results for the state of California. He had some snow fall inside the back of his hood. He actually got chemical burns from the snow. All right, I don't want to get on too much of a tangent here, but just think, every other country in the world does not allow the food in America to be sold on their shelves. All right? So, I mean, if you don't believe me, just look it up. You can figure it out. It's a $200 billion industry. They had all this chemical, leftover stuff, and they were like, oh, what should we do? What should we do with it? And it's like, well, this is why certain things like ethanol and, corn fructose, I mean, everything is sugar, 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 sugar. All right. And that's why the diabetic rate's gone crazy. They put, carbohydrates into everything that's not needed. It's crazy. I mean, you ever remember those ads like for toothpaste where like 9 out of 10 dentists, would tell you Sensodyne is the best for, sensitivity or whatever it may be. Yeah, that's because they got paid money. That's the same thing like in the 50s when, we were taking over South America for all the fruit plantations down there, Banana Republic, if that rings a bell. I mean, everything is profit over people, unfortunately. If we're the greatest nation in the last bastion of freedom, we're like the only industrialized nation in the world that does not have a public option healthcare for their citizens. Okay, so like all I'm saying is, these days you might get 2 out of 3 out of 10 at best. Think that Charmin's the quicker picker upper, but you can't get 9 out of 10 unless you pay these people. Just look at how many people have overdosed in the last 15, 20 years. It's more than every war since World War II combined, and nobody seems to talk about it. And doctors were incentivized to hand out, painkillers and ADHD and Ritalin and, I mean, you name it. Adderall is the thing now. I mean, so all I'm saying is we're getting poisoned by our food, our water, the air, the environment around you, depending on what your job is. I mean, you're probably exposed to stuff every day, So my best advice, to boost your immune system and to be a lot healthier. And I'm not a doctor. Okay, I'd like to say I'm Doc Hlavac, but I'm not a doctor. So you don't listen to me. Do your own research. But for me, like if you have a local farm or hell, even a local butcher shop, that's what I'd be doing. I would avoid anything processed, avoid sugar. And sugar is the most addictive drug on the planet. It's 100 times more than opioids or anything like it. It's a hell of a drug, as Dave Chappelle would say. 100 times more addictive. Just think about that. I mean, we know that if you just eat Hostess and cookies and donuts and just all you got to do is go outside and you know what I mean. Like, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just trying to get everybody to think about your health and just avoid as much sugar as you can. My ratio is I tried to cut. My diet. Okay, I'm gonna be 44 here in a little bit, and my diet consisted of a 12-year-old sleepover. You know what I mean? Just all the BS, all the junk food, you name it. I mean, I was the worst of the worst. Okay, I used to drink like a 12-pack of soda or pop, whatever you want to call it, and I lost a lot of teeth, just because I would drink it all day long. I would sip it, and if you do drink soda, this is my only recommendation: drink it fast. Every time you sip, it takes an hour for your mouth to develop the saliva to get that acid off that's removing your enamel. So brush your teeth, drink a lot of water, swish it around. You know what I mean? Don't let that stuff happen. So I'm just going to try to wrap it up here, not get too long-winded today. So I hadn't been to the doctor in 20 years. My mom, God bless her, she sent me to this holistic doctor. And we found out that of the only two things that I'm allergic to, one of them is mold. And so when I was a kid, I got bronchitis a lot, and I was on a lot of antibiotics, and that kills all of your good gut biomes. And so basically, because I was a sugar all the time guy, I basically turned into a what they call it technically is candida. But it was just like all the sugar in my body took over my gut biome, and I got a sinus infection that was antibiotic resistance. And I finally got like a spray that I used for about a month. It was like a silver diode. I'm not a doctor. I don't know exactly what it was, but it killed the fungus infection in my sinuses. And God, man, I'm telling you, that saved my damn life. I went carnivore, where I basically do red meats and fermented foods. I kind of like pickles. Okay, I love pickles. Pickles are great, but and within 2 weeks of going carnivore, like it only took 2 weeks. I mean, I kind of felt like shit because the candida was dying off because I wasn't eating 1,000 grams of sugar every day. But like after 2 weeks and getting over that die off of the candida, man, I felt like I was 17, 18. Like I have no soreness, no inflammation. I've worked a lot of physical jobs, working my hands and, stuff like that. And so, I'm beat up, working since I was 11. But I'm not telling you what to do or, how to live. I'm just trying to give you a little advice. Once you realize that 80% of your immune system is the gut, you're going to want to figure out a way you got to have balance in the gut. You're going to have good and bad, but you want more good. It's pretty basic stuff. And in addition to a better diet, avoiding sugars, like, if you eat sugar, I'm not telling you it's impossible to get away from sugar, but just try to minimize it to the best of your abilities, and exercise daily. And even if it's a 20-minute walk, You don't have to go run. You don't have to go do a marathon. You don't got to do a triathlon. You don't got to lift 40,000 sets of weights or anything like that. Just get out, get some sun, take a deep breath, and you'll get real high. You remember that? Four non-blondes. Anyways, so let's wrap this up. We're going to summarize it up real quick here. Since 1969, the diabetic rate in this country has gone up 550%. Fluoride has been added to your water since 1945. We got big food is a $200 million industry. It's almost impossible to avoid corn seed oils, which are poisons. It's hard to avoid outside with all the chemtrails, but what you can do, again, I'll try to make this brief. Local farm, local butcher, grass-fed, you can always do good fruits and stuff as long as it's not too acidic or too sugary. Like blueberries are pretty good, etc. Exercise every day. And you know what? I guarantee you're going to feel a lot better if you start doing that. So, all right, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good rest of your day. Peace.